I make it no secret on this channel that I like to joke around. I like to have a good time. I mean, after all, my avatar is Donkey Kong, so a lot of people right off the bat, they just assume that my channel's a joke and that I'm some sort of a goofster and that none of my content is serious. And sometimes, admittedly, I play into this, especially my content in the past where I made videos of, let's just say a questionable quality. They didn't really serve much purpose aside from being personally entertaining. And a lot of this has to do with the origins of my channel, being a platform where I can vent and express my dissatisfaction with the world and talk about topics that I was personally passionate about. But over time, I began to get more serious about organizing, and I sought to take the lessons I learned there and make videos discussing the obstacles in organizing that I encountered. I joined a few parties, and all of a sudden I felt like my channel had grown into something bigger than it was initially intended to be. My humble communist Donkey Kong channel became a mouthpiece for whole organizations. Maybe not in an official sense, but it was certainly treated that way, and a lot of eyes were suddenly on me, watching my every word, holding me under the microscope. And this sort of pressure made me scared to screw up and say the wrong thing. And this kind of paralyzed me. It made me afraid to make any videos because I didn't want to anger anyone in the organizations I was a part of. One organization, I don't want to go down history road, but one organization was particularly controlling and demanding. They even threatened to forbid me to upload videos on the channel. And another organization I was a part of went the opposite way. I was placed in the driver's seat and I had control over the entire process. But I also felt like this carried with it certain expectations of quality, and that I was no longer just speaking for myself, but rather an entire organization whose reputation partially relied on my online behavior. I'm not saying that I was a total goofball, but I felt restricted in that sense. In other words, a channel which began out of a cathartic personal need to rant against the world, to rage against the machine, became a channel which partially represented organizations which served a much higher purpose than that. This contradiction between levity and seriousness caused an existential crisis for my channel, which was too goofy to be serious. At least, this is what I felt at the time. And for a time, I had considered changing my avatar and my name and adopting a more, serious persona. But honestly, folks, that would not be authentic to who I am and how I am. What you see on the Donkey Kong channel, this is me. Flaws and all. I know I'm a goofball. I know that I like to joke around, and I know that I'm not the most eloquent person or the most professional person, but this is just who I am. Take it or leave it. I'm true to myself, and this is not a character, this is not a persona. And one reason why I came back to YouTube, probably the main reason if we're being honest, is out of pure selfishness. I missed making Donkey Kong videos. It filled a gap in my life that I was sorely missing, as I was and currently still am going through an extremely hard time in my personal life. This channel provides an escape hatch for me to unfocus on all those horrible things in my life and to focus on ideas much bigger than myself and my petty problems. It allows me to reach out to a community of people and feel less alienated, less isolated, less alone. I've definitely felt a lot less alone since I've been posting on here. But I've realized something important, that coming back to YouTube, my channel was going to have to change. I wanted to step up my game and make content that not only satisfied me, but was useful to the movement. And so this is why I began my Essentials of Maoism series. My development into Marxism, Leninism, Maoism was like a metamorphosis. It was like a butterfly emerging out of a cocoon, a beautiful brand new shiny butterfly, or a Donkey Kong emerging out of a barrel. I was no longer confined by my previous restrictions. I'm free to make content as I see fit, but I've also reached a higher plane, and because of this, I want to make content that's educational and informative while keeping true to myself and remaining jovial, having the ability to laugh at myself and some of the, let's just say, eccentric personalities that I discuss on this channel. There is a fine balance, especially on the internet Marxist community, between communicating ideas and promoting a brand. Some channels go all in and discuss only the ideas. They're often, dry and humorless, but they do serve a vital purpose in promoting a no-nonsense educational production where average people, average Joes, can learn more about Marxism. On the other hand, there's channels which are all personality. They hardly ever focus on the ideas. They go purely for the clicks, purely for the drama. They focus on form over function. And this is the complaint I can mostly lay at the feet of the debate bros. They're so focused on themselves and expanding their fan base and accruing their internet points that they've seemingly forgotten that this is the internet. It's not real life. Videos and streams, they can serve a purpose. I'm not saying that they don't serve a purpose, but they don't make the revolution happen. We can't lose sight of that fact. And trust me, I haven't. Oftentimes I felt like my channel has no purpose at all. I struggled with this feeling during my hiatus. I feel like everything I made was trash, it was just garbage, and someone else had probably said it and done it better. And that nothing I said was even getting out there anyway. But I came to accept a few things. Even if people do what I do better, is that really a valid excuse not to make my own videos too? What's wrong with having 2 or more channels discussing the same topics? What's wrong with a diversity of opinion, no matter how small and humble a channel may be? What's wrong with only getting a few viewers on your videos? I'm not out there to build a brand or make a name for myself, to get a bazillion subscribers and rake in ad money and super chats. If I was, I'd just be like Infrared and stream for 8 hours a day. That's not who I am. That's not what this channel's about. Very early on, I fully expected my channel to get taken down. My videos gone forever. These numbers we chase, the views and subscriber counts, the internet points, they're all ethereal. And someday it'll all be gone. And the servers are going to get wiped. And this channel will cease to exist. I'm not saying necessarily that I want this to happen, but I believe it's very likely to happen. So we have to learn how to let go of this obsession with numbers and subscribers, amassing internet points. It's time to grow up. It may feel like as Marxist YouTubers we're all shouting into the wind and no one can hear us. Our voices get drowned out in a sea of liberalism and reactionary bullshit. But I guarantee you that someone, somewhere is listening, and it's not just an agent of a government. It's real people. These videos, no matter how small, do communicate ideas which need to be heard because they speak to conditions much bigger than ourselves. It'll resonate with someone and perhaps inspire them to do something out there in the real world. And a lot of the times, we can't see the immediate impact that these videos have on the world. And chances are, maybe we never will. But maybe a long time from now, some alien, excavating the remnants of the old world will download the 2023 YouTube archives and find this Danky Kane guy and watch his videos and gather some sort of knowledge from it. I promise you that anyone with a basic PC can do what I do. Just go download OBS, get a cheap microphone, download OpenShot and Audacity. These are free video and audio editors. And just go out there and make some content. Make a channel. But then log off and learn how to let it go. Don't fret if you don't see the growth you'd like to see. Take solace in the fact that in the old days, you'd have to print content out on a newspaper and circulate it by hand. Often just by standing on a street corner somewhere and hoping that someone doesn't use your precious thoughts as toilet paper. These days, ideas can be circulated efficiently and quickly by anyone with even a slight modicum of technical know-how and a basic computer. Heck, even a phone. It may not be flashy, may not be elegant, but it'll do its job in getting these ideas out there. And, now I'd like to talk a little bit about YouTube drama and the petty bullshit that we all get wrapped up into. And so, a lot of us, myself included, get bogged down in this day-to-day drama. Oh, B-Level said this, Moppin said that, Danky said this. It just goes on and on and on. And some people thrive on this drama. That's all they do. They love it. And you could certainly make that criticism of my videos covering patriotic socialism. However, I would retort and defend my actions by saying that I'm conscious of this phenomena and I actively try to avoid it by the methods I used. I made a video where I explained, in my opinion, pretty successfully, why I felt like patriotic socialism was absolutely wrong. I described the issues I had with its ideology, from the issues of settler nationalism to reactionary populism to the overt fascism of Alexander Dugin and Lyndon LaRouche, and the opportunistic aesthetic Marxism of Nazbol ideology. I then described a few of the major personalities which promote patriotic socialism: Caleb Maupin, the CPI, Haas and the infracell community, and Jackson Hinkleberry. And then I did something that I feel like is the best way to handle this kind of debate bro fake communism that we see on the internet. I made a bingo card where I predicted what their responses to my criticism would be, showing that I've done my homework and I know these people's grift. I didn't expect, trust me, I did not expect it to be as accurate as it was, but sadly, I was spot on with my assessment, and this provided not only entertainment for me and hopefully for my audience, but also an important lesson that these guys had zero self-awareness and no ability whatsoever to self-criticize or change their approach. They've all carved themselves into a little niche, and they can't do anything besides what they've already done. They can't respond in any way that isn't a debate challenge or conspiracy theories or juvenile name-calling. And I showed this with perfect clarity. I argued that to debate these individuals was a waste of time. Now, this isn't to say that debates in general are useless, but they have to have an objective in mind, that both parties want the correct line to prevail and will be willing to concede to the truth. There has to be some kind of order, some kind of rule set, moderation, where an objective third party is able to prevent both sides from talking over each other and descending into sophistry and petty insults. Absent of these controls, debate becomes a battle of personalities rather than a battle of ideas. Some people are just better at expressing their ideas than others, and other people have a bigger personality. In the debate format, as many who took debate in high school could probably tell you, it's not about who has the correct idea. It's about who's the bigger personality, who's the better communicator, who can be the loudest voice in the room. The debate bro scene is full of these personalities, which are all style, no substance. And some of them don't have any style either, let's just be real. They aren't willing to argue in good faith. They'll rapidly descend into sophistry and insults to keep their opponent on the defensive while overwhelming them with incorrect assessments of their position. I've seen this tactic used time and time again, and the sad thing is, it works. Ladies and gentlemen, if you spend all your time defending your points and correcting misconceptions, this is precious time where you're not attacking your opponent's views. If you fail to address a single point brought up by your opponent out of the myriad of points they made in order to overwhelm you, they attack that. Even if you manage to navigate this attack successfully, they'll try other ways to overwhelm you and keep you on the defensive. Muting you, calling you names, putting out more straw men, anything to keep you from attacking their ideas. You see, I understand how debate works. I know the ins and outs and how it quickly becomes a way to attack and discredit correct ideas. With people like these Patsocs who right away start off their criticisms by accusing me of being an ultra, a LARPer, someone who doesn't write my own scripts apparently, someone who works for the government, a breadtube liberal, or, if you're Haas, someone who has a mental disorder or low testosterone. or, just any number of strawmen, conspiracies, and insults. These individuals demonstrate that debating them would be a complete waste of time. In the best case scenario, I navigate past the strawmen, the insults, the petty attacks, and I try to carve my way to the core of the disagreement, maybe even take the offensive. But that isn't enough, is it? These individuals don't care about their ideas being critiqued. I provided ample and substantial critiques of patriotic socialism in my video already, and they were all ignored. Hilariously enough, they all said that I didn't criticize them with any real arguments, and they accused me of strawmanning them, despite me laying out a very coherent critique of their views and their personalities that only continues to be validated with each passing day. So, many people have asked me why I even made videos about Patsocs in the first place, that I was degrading myself by immersing myself in this drama-filled cesspool. But honestly, I don't look at it that way. Yeah, I got in a cesspool and invited drama, but I did so to prove a point, that these Patsocs are not serious people. Even Maupin, who wears a suit and he's been all over the world to numerous conferences and given speeches, and he has an organization, despite his extensive resume, he proved himself to be exactly what I said he was in my initial video. He showed I didn't strawman him at all. I showed his true colors. The same with Haas and all the other goofballs I discussed. By refusing to debate them, I took away their power, their best chance to dominate the discussion, because we all know by now that they're incapable of making actual arguments against my position that'll actually hold up. They need the sophistry. They need the debate, because that's the only tool in their repertoire. They can't write a script and make video essay polemics where they lay out their ideas and discredit mine with logic and reason. They need insults. They need strawmen, the Pepe the Frog emojis in chat telling them how based they are. By using my bingo card, I showed how they were exactly how I assessed them to be. So why go any further than that? What else needs to be said? What else could I do to demonstrate the flaws in their ideas and personalities that I haven't already done? It's over, folks. They lost, and I've won. I won the second they responded because it confirmed I was right in my predictions. They're so fond of saying the phrase, cope and seethe. But in truth, they're the ones coping and seething. They can continue to challenge me to debate, and honestly, I'll continue to deny them that privilege. Quite frankly, they shouldn't debate me because they'll lose. They'll lose big time. So I'm actually doing them a favor by refusing. I'm saving them the last little bit of dignity, the last little scrap of dignity that they have left. So unless they can produce a counter argument that's something of substance, the whole purpose of debating them is pointless. I challenge all of them. Maupin, Haas, Yankee Tanky, all of these fools, I challenge them to do just that. If my ideas and assessments are wrong, prove me wrong. Make the effort to debunk me, and don't just challenge me to a debate and gloat about how I'm a coward for refusing. But I have a feeling that they're not going to do that. Not because they can't, but because they're fucking lazy and they're unwilling to give up the grift. It's honestly really, really sad, folks, but that's the difference between me and them. They'll live in the cesspool of debate bro culture and they love it. I'll dip my toes in long enough to call it out as the toxic swamp that it is, and then I'll clean myself off and move into the crystal clear waters of video essays and deep dives. So, what is the future of this channel? I hope to finish my series on the essentials of Maoism and later build on those ideas I introduced in that series by elaborating further on them. I'd like to have on guests who are experts in these topics to discuss these issues in much greater depth. I'd also like to discuss and debunk false ideas I've seen and critique personalities I've encountered within the online left, including Vosh. I have a whole video planned out where I outline my critiques of him in the same way that I critique the Patsocs, complete with bingo cards and all. In this manner, I hope to provide challenges to many false ideas I see perpetuated online and highlight a better road for the future. I also want to promote other channels who are underrated and need attention, to encourage and strengthen the online communist movement by promoting principled Marxists who make quality content. And this isn't just limited to Maoists either. There are a lot of anti-revisionist Marxist-Leninists out there who make excellent content, and I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge their contributions as well. In this manner, I hope to cut through the needless hyper-sectarianism of the internet and promote quality, principled Marxist viewpoints and solidify the community, rallying them against the pseudo-Marxist crap we see peddled online and countering the rampant radical liberalism that we see on LeftTube. In my own humble way, maybe I can help do this. In this small, humble way, I hope to draw a line of distinction between those who I may have disagreements with, but I believe that they are principled, that they're willing to engage in a dialogue, and a line between them and those who I disagree with, who are unprincipled and unwilling to take criticism in a constructive way. They're deeply unserious personalities. The Marxist community can and must solidify to combat these mistaken tendencies as best as we possibly can. And I believe that those of us who are serious, no matter how goofy our avatars might be, can come together and promote principled Marxism on the internet. So that about wraps it up for this video. Be sure to let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'd be more than interested in reading them and responding to them in a future video. And let me know what you think. I'll catch you on the next one. Dinky Kang, out.